Hey, what's up guys? Ben Clark here for Adapt to Perform. Now a little while ago I made a video on how to turn negative thoughts into positive ones, and I had a really great response from you guys, and if you haven't already, please go ahead and check that out on my channel. But I wanted to do a few more videos along that sort of line of thinking. So in today's video I wanted to tell a little bit of a story about me and sort of give you sort of a moral of this story as such. And this is all about the power of having a purpose in life and how it can actually be the path to happiness, in my opinion anyway. So when you think about, if you think about me and from an outside perspective, you'd probably think the worst year of my life was when I had my injury. I was on top of the world before this. I was training for the Olympics. I was trying to be at the top of my game. Everything was going right. It was pretty great time in my life, and I had my accident, and I went from that to laying on my back for 8 weeks straight, and then having 8 months in hospital trying to recover from this accident I had. And although this was a difficult time, at this time I had a purpose, and that purpose was to get back in the pool. I had the love of swimming, and I thought, hey, there's no reason why I can't still do this sort of thing. So yeah, I carried on, and I had that purpose, and I wasn't the happiest. I'd rather be back to where I was before, but because I had that purpose, I didn't have time to worry about how bad the situation was, so I felt happy at that time. But I did have a really dark year, and that actually happened almost 4 years after my accident. What happened was I carried on swimming for a bit, but I wasn't quite the same, so I gave up, and I had sort of a year period where I had given up swimming, and I had no real proper positive purpose in life, and that was a bit of a shame really. I had all this experience and all this amazing thing, and I thought, I wasn't happy because of the way the swimming was going, so if I give up, then maybe I'll be happier. But in fact, it just made the situation worse. The fact was now that I didn't have a purpose in life. I didn't have something to get up for every day. I didn't have the thing to drive me, to make me passionate about something. Most of my days were spent maybe going to the gym for a little bit, and then just playing on video games, seeing friends occasionally. Like no real actual thing to make to be part of something bigger as such, bigger than myself. So what happened was, after a while, I need to get back into something. I wasn't in the right mindset at the time to really understand why I was not feeling great. I wasn't in a happy place. I was feeling depressed, I was feeling anxious, didn't really want to go out too much. I started seeing less of those friends, but I didn't really understand why the situation was. But it became clear that maybe I needed to do something. I wasn't really achieving anything in my life, so I needed to do something. This wasn't a plan to be more happy with my life. This was a plan just to do something. I can't just sit around and play games or just go to the gym a bit. I need to have something that's worthy of living a life for. So I got into swim coaching, and within a couple of weeks of doing that swim coaching, that sort of spark of happiness sort of started to come back. And I'm giving all my years of knowledge from the swimming background, all my gym stuff, and then giving it to the swimmers and seeing them achieve, and having them come up to me and thank me for their help. And that was such a real positive experience, and it made me feel part of something bigger than myself. This wasn't my journey anymore, it was mine and their journey. But what this did was actually make me a lot happier in life. I was a lot more positive, I was a lot more willing to get outside, I was less depressed, less anxious, and it just got better and better over time. Now this it just goes to show what purpose is in life. It's something that you don't really understand until you get to the point where you're feeling as low as you possibly can, and you come out the other side of it with a purpose as such. So I feel like it's something that you need to go through the bad parts in life to really, and then to come through the other side to really look back and understand how you got there and why you got there. I don't think it's something that you can necessarily get without going through the bad stuff, which is kind of you know, it's not the greatest thing. We don't always want to go through bad stuff, but what we can do is actually create situations where life is a little bit more difficult for ourselves, whether that's pushing ourselves to the limit in a sport or pushing ourselves in various different ways to make life tough for ourselves. So, to really drive home and then create that happiness through that sort of, you know, coming out the other side of it with a big achievement as such. So basically what I wanted to do with this video is explain to you that whole story and how that by having a purpose in my life, I actually made a big difference to my whole life, you know, and the effects of it have just absolutely compounded since, you know. If we go back to that stage where I was not feeling myself, I was, you know, looking ill, I had bags under my eyes, I started losing my hair at that point. You know, I was stressed, I was anxious, and I was depressed, and I didn't have much going for me. I started to not see my friends as much, and then as I came out of that, it wasn't a quick process, you know, to come out of that. It took a while. I started to feel that happiness straight away, but it took a while to get to where I am now today. You know, I'm 3-4 years on from that period where I was feeling down and depressed, and now I'm at a point where I'm extremely happy. But along the way, you know, I started Adapt to Perform, and I started giving and being another part of something even bigger than myself. I started to get back into education, getting my swimming coaching qualifications, getting my personal trainer qualifications. This was something I would never have dreamed of doing when I was up in that sort of dark period in my life. And you know, because of that, I got a beautiful girlfriend. I started going on holiday more. You know, Adapt to Perform started doing really well as I got more into it, as I started putting more of myself into it, and it was amazing opportunities started appearing and after one another, and it just keeps going and going. And the more I gave myself to this purpose, the more it gave to me, which was something that I never thought would be possible. You know, I wouldn't thought I'd be where I am today if it wasn't for, you know, giving myself to the purpose. And that's something that I kind of want you to take away with this, is that life can be whatever you really want it to be. If you want it to be an amazing experience where you do loads of cool things, you have the opportunity to do that. You just got to give yourself to it. This is something you can't just take. You know, you have to go and get it. You know, it's not easily obtainable. You have to work at it. It's not easy, but it is possible. You just have to find a purpose. And do you know what? I do not care what that purpose is. If your purpose in life is to set up a small shop selling teacups online, but if that's the thing that really gets you out of bed in the morning, that's the thing that drives you, makes you really passionate to be part of that community of cup sellers online, then more power to you. You know, you can literally do anything in this day and age. You know, we have the internet, we have the possibilities. You know, 20-30 years ago there would have never been an opportunity for a disabled guy to talk about this sort of thing online, you know, and reach thousands of people. And now it's totally possible. You know, this was a ridiculous dream that long ago, and now it is possible. And that's the amazing thing about the society we live in today, that the opportunity to have a purpose has never ever been more like be able to be realized than now. So basically you've just got to go out there and get it. And I understand I'm rambling on a bit now, but like life is out there to go and get it, and you just got to go and get it. You know, get a purpose, give yourself over to it, you know, and commit yourself as much as you can. You'll be so surprised about where you can get to in your life if you just give yourself over. And I keep repeating myself, and you know, I am one to ramble. I do know that. You know, when I do my speeches and that, I do tend to ramble a little bit, but I feel like it's just me being honest on camera. I like to drive home the point. You know, I'm very passionate about this sort of thing. I really feel that through my experiences, I can like almost stop you from getting to that dark, depressed stage, and you know, find different ways to make your life a little bit more difficult, to make it a lot more worthwhile. Because, and I heard this great quote the other day, you know, there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. If you want to see more videos like this, well, I'd love to do them. One, because it's easy to film. Basically, I just talk in front of the camera. And two, I think that this sort of story, this sort of things that I've gone through, this isn't the only thing that I think I can talk about. I could talk about a whole range of things if you want me to. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if you did. If you like that video, give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel to see all those wonderful things that I do, including workouts, yoga videos, other various things that I go on holiday and whatnot. So yeah, make sure you check all those videos out. There's tons for you to have a look at. And again, if you like this type of video, make sure that you let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Go out there, get your purpose and go smash life. Have complete faith in you. See you later.